has applied for the West Virginia Water Development Authority and the IGDC for ARPA funds that I've explained to you guys. They've been made available in a more flexible form through House Bill 4566. The contract is for 80 days. And we do have to understand that any overcharge is on the town of Fayette to take care of. We're not expecting anything like that. But it's 8 days, and the contractor is ready to start work on May the 23rd, which is a week from now.
Yep.
So they're ready to go. I've taken the contractors in. Now, what will happen between now and the date they start, they'll set a pre-construction meeting and get in there and make everyone aware, anybody who wants to come and see that. But I would like to make a motion that we authorize the mayor to sign the contract with Building Systems of Hagerstown, Maryland, to complete the interior rehabilitation of the
A motion second on the floor to authorize the mayor to sign the contract for the interior finishing of the interior of the depot. Is that what the motion is? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, motion passes.
So happy that.
Ooh, yes, we are going to get our depot done.
A little scary there.
Might have to live there after it's all done.
They got residency. Yeah, and I'll get this back to the contractor and the architect, so everybody has their contract.
All right, there we go.
Great.
All right, so those two housekeeping chores are done. All right, don't have anything for communications and mayor, so let's move down to the Bath Development. We don't have anybody. They've got next meeting is June 1st, 4:30 in the evening, courthouse. Visa Zoom or in person. Parks and Recs, their next meeting is 5/18 at 7 p.m. at the courthouse room. We haven't heard anything. We still get a resignation about a month and a half ago, so we need to see if we can find somebody that will step up to the plate and also we have one representative, but we're able to have two on that particular
We
three.
have three, so we've got two vacancies.
We got two vacancies, so
Yeah.
if anybody wants to step up and help out on the Park and Recs board, please send in your information to us so that we can have you come before council. And
We did talk a little bit about this on planning commission, and it was brought up that it would be good to have people with maybe a little gray hair on here too, because, they're active and they're interested in recreation also, and they may have, a little more time with the rail trail getting together and all, so it's open to anybody.
Right, yep, anybody at all. You don't have to have a kid playing in, it's all to help out Morgan County Parks and Rec, which includes everybody in this county. For any place, comes from anywhere. So, but they gotta be a representative, you gotta live in the county. They don't have to live in town, but they can live in the county, right? All right, so planning commission.
Mr. Mayor, I got 3 points today. So the planning commission has started a subcommittee for planning for the the comprehensive plan. So we're meeting, in addition to our regular meeting, we're meeting another time to get that ball rolling. We had our first meeting on May 9th. And really it's process, how are we going to plan? The intent is we'll come up with the planning effort, obviously. And as we move forward at specific milestones, we'll bring it to the full commission. And then once we refine that, we'll bring it up to this board to be able to say, hey, here's where the planning commission is going. And at that point, I would ask for your maximum input to help steer that planning commission, looking at it from your specific equities. We'll be working with the other entities within the town that have some kind of influence or they affect, i.e. we go to the BDA all the time, Parks and Rec, that could be in there as well. So we'll be populating each of these through the various committees. But we're just at the starting phase, and we'll keep you informed as we progress through the process. Secondly, hey, just if I could thank the Honorable Mrs. Webster for the great work to get that milestone. Okay, that we were, we all realized we were stuck on the money side. So Susan, great job in the work with a couple of planning commission members, helping nug that out to get that going. But I thought that was great work. So congratulations on that for the town. And lastly, going back to the BDA, they have a meeting this Thursday. They're calling it a sandbox meeting, is what the leader's doing, and it is a chance. It complements our efforts in the planning commission very well because it's bringing together leadership of various committees and groups within the Berkeley Springs or the county area. So I would encourage, if you're not aware of it, please get with myself or Susan. We can steer you to the time and place for Thursday night. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Rails and trails.
Okay, presumably you all got the update.
Yep.
Joel kind of made a breakthrough with Brayley last week to get the ball rolling again with our friends at HDR to decide who's going to design the two bridges. And I guess HDR is going to be told to do that. And that was that, and a couple of permit things were always standing in the way of putting this thing through the, I think it has to go through the federal highway people to get the funding agreement the county signed approved and get it into BidX for bids. So that is a hurdle, and it sounds like it's still going to be a design build contract.
Right.
So HDR terms are roughly 30%. Whoever wins the contract finishes the design and deals with the construction.
Right. Not
necessarily the same company, but it's the same group. So that's good, because it was vacillating over another step. And yeah, we'll probably hold another meeting. We decide a couple days before a meeting if it's needed. I worked that out with Bill and Joel, so we need a meeting. But they'll always get an update. All right, streetscape. So I talked with Jeff Dolan this morning about the design contract. If you all recall, we went through step one of the solicitation process. Thrasher is the best qualified. Still not telling anybody that except the state and Thrasher. Now the state has went back to all into that group and decided, and as they always do, they had to vet the rates. They had to have a certified labor rate, overhead rate, so that has now been done. As of Friday, we know it's now done, and it's going to be passed back to Jeff Dolan, who's going to send me a copy of it because the town's going to hold the contract. This is of interest to us. So that's good. Jeff said that once that, he was waiting for that to be settled. At that point, he can provide us with the cost and other information that it's going to take for the contract to be written. Jeff Thrasher's going to draft the contract, and we'll have a task order from the town that will essentially identify the scope of phase 5 to finish the drawings. That will all have been blessed by DOH by the time we get there. The second thing is that last week or before, whatever, task back the draft of the funding agreement that you're going to have to deal with in order to get the design funding. That will come back to the town. That needs, that'll probably need the resolution, a few other things, just like the funding agreement we did for the state park. Kind of like that. And right now, that's sitting at $50,000 total, 40, 10 a year. That's the number we're getting back from Thrasher. If that adjusts, we have more money in the grant. So the idea is that, as you know, if you mess up these things, they like the town to pay 100% of it. We want to avoid that. So that, I think, it's a matter of weeks. We'll see that. Then it has to go to the federal highway grant, which could take another month or more.
Right.
That's where the state park project is right now. It should be back within a day or two. then they could go to contract. It's just, but it is, but I think we're making progress now. On phase 6, Sally Marshall is still around, she made it back from Spain without having to quarantine herself 2 more weeks there. We've picked a project for phase 6. It's based on what came out of the opening day of the Rain Gardens on Congress Street.
Right.
We had a bunch of displays and stickers being put on it. So the 2 winners are in phase 5. The runner-ups are in phase 6. Okay, so all there was input on that, and I have been given the keys to the grant they put. Because you're going, Sally used to do this for us. Well, Sally gave me the keys. I put the package together and inserted it into the grant machinery. Sally checked it last night, and I got it done. So this is like, the instructor pilot, and I solo. That's due next week, Monday, but Sally and I said, let's just get it done by the end of this week. I put the package of streets out to the streets committee last week. Didn't really get anything that said, no, don't do it this way, do it that way. So I think we're okay. From now on, we're gonna see a set number for a construction package, kind of a set number for a design package. And we'll force fit what we get to do inside those numbers, because there are no more numbers. There's no more money. So that's what we've been doing. Basically, we're gonna go for a $60,000 design package for phase 6, 48 from the grant, 12 from the town. Talked with Delola today, and he said that's a good number. It says it's roughly 12% of a construction package, so it fits. So we'll go for that. We won't see that till next year. So, we've got out-year plans on this thing. It's like doing the defense budget. Yeah, do this and that. You get the feeling, how that works. And we'll be okay. The process is so slow. It's hard to do things. I don't think we're going to have, the problem like the depot problem, because this is all money. It's not toll credits or property. This is all money.
We love those toll.
I know, but they're over, aren't they?
No.
Look, it's gone. It's gone. And I'll be at the May 19th session. I'm just going to have a 1-page to hand out to anybody who's interested on schools.
Question, we've come up in a couple committee meetings, BDA and Public Safety Committee that I've been in, about questions about paving of 522.
Yeah.
And Daryl Combs was at the BDA meeting and made a reference that part of the delay in that work having not been done up to this point is streetscapes related work.
Yep.
Can you explain where we are on that?
We're done.
Yeah, it's
We are.
done. It's
The
been
last-
done.
So, but this meeting was just
It's out.
It was the ADA process.
Corners.
They don't want to pave and then rip it up.
but it's done.
We're
So-
done.
So it's
So I had, over the last few months, I was, to keep Rick happy, I was talking with District 5 about, okay, guys, when are you gonna pay? When are you gonna pay?
Yeah.
And I actually got an answer out of them that said, by the end of July.
Oh, okay.
So there's no holdup relative to
Any
what
longer.
the town has done.
Okay.
The holdup is inside the machinery
Okay.
at DOH. Oh, we're getting close to that, so I will now open the door
Right.
and see.
They've already measured, there's numbers on the road. If you go out and look going south on 522, you'll see numbers counting all the way out. So they've already been in town and doing what they're doing.
There's
So it's,
chalk on the roadway.
in process.
I'm almost sure it's gonna happen this summer.
Yeah.
So it was all hinging on the ADA
It
corners.
was.
They said they wouldn't pave until we actually had the ADA corners done.
But this thing about those corners and pavement, it does keep rolling back up, doesn't it? Well, if streetscape.
Well, at least we got the
Well, it's
federal
not-
government
it's-
off our tail end, because I was
Yeah.
getting visited every 2 months here with the federal government wanting to know when we were gonna get the corners done.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to get a consistent, true story. And quite frankly, it's, these are all narratives. It depends on who you talk to, and what their narrative is. I like truth.
I wanted to hear your narrative, so I appreciate it.
No, yeah, no, I can only remember the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Everything else is a script. I can only remember.
I appreciate that.
It's age. And the other thing was, and Rick was worried about this, is JP, the guy that Burns, the guy that District 5 that managed the streetscape trust thing, has assured us that the rule for paving is they have to go up the side street to match where the work was done. And that includes the fact that with streetscape, we messed around with some of the side streets. Congress is ours, Independence is theirs. But the still is, they'll have to wrap that up around to cover where the curb was.
Yep.
And I'm gonna make sure that that comes true. I mean, that's like, it's a promise.
Yeah.
That was a promise they gave us that they would take care of.
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but I've actually heard it from the people who will be managing. That's the
Right.
best, that's the best thing to get is something like that.
Yep.
So anyway, but it's also, it's okay to blame streetscape. Because at one point we probably did it. And
Well,
then-
then,
And
yeah,
then fixed it.
right.
But the way the funding works nowadays, it's gonna be awful hard to fix things that you don't get right the first time.
Yep.
There's no extra money to go.
Well, then that's when you hold the contractor's feet to the fire,
Well,
you know.
we did, but, my favorite story is the slope size of the planters, right? The new towers and planters. That was a Thrasher drawing error. They met the drawings, which were wrong. So, I don't remember this, but there's a 13% overhead that's taken out of our funding by DOH to cover various and sundry things. It's kept secret in Charleston. District 5 guys don't know what it is or how much it is.
So they spend it. They make sure it gets that.
Well, yeah, but that's, so I had to go pry it out of Charleston and announce it to District 5, and that solved the problem. Because it was a change. Nice.
Thank you, Pete.
I think I'm done.
All right, thank you.
So you can have your time back.
All right,
All right.
all right.
Thanks, Eric.
We've already discussed the train depot. I don't think we need to hit it anymore. Okay. Landmark Commission, we haven't resurrected yet. Clerk and recorder's report. Madam Clerk, the recorder, do you have anything?
Right, let's see. No, this is more finance. I don't know anything we have.
Madam Assistant Clerk. Okay. All right, then we'll move on to finance then. Let's pay some bills. Woo-hoo.
Let's go ahead and, we did meet the past 2 days. A couple of things came out of our meeting that we're interested in. And one of those being shopping our insurance and really looking at that. It's expensive and it's something that you need to put out and get quotes on every once in a while and just see what else is out there. Because we're concerned about inflation, as everyone is, and we're concerned about some of our history with insurance. And so prices probably are going to be going up. And so we would like to take on insurance and, to local agents or whatever, and just see what type of scope we can get in business and service and like that. Right?
Yeah, with the current trends, it's 100% needs to be looked at by national parties because it needs to have a proactive approach instead of a reactive. So instead of waiting until the bill comes and saying, "Oh my goodness," we need to get ahead of it.
So we may go ahead, we can first talk with the clerk and like that and get more information as we can. thing like that, and put this.
Well, how about this? Can we have the insurance agents that we're thinking about, have them go ahead and give us a quote of approximately what, what they're thinking they might be able to save us?
In a situation like this, it's gonna take them at least a minimum of 90 days.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing that.
I think that's what we
It's
need
not-
to do. That
that's
way,
what's gonna
we
pay
can
them.
sit down with dollars and signs and say, okay, can you save us here? Can you save us
What
there?
insurance are you talking about?
Anybody, all of it, the whole package.
Everything from the casualty, liability, workers' comp, just all of the things. I understand there was something with the water department that.
The water
Yes.
department has insurance, they just switched to PEI.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's why the whole
But
town
the
did.
other insurance, that Sharon was talking
Yeah,
about,
just
that,
membership and
you know,
life
things,
and-
things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe helping them.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to get a quote from other insurance agents. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, and if we determine, hey, it's not gonna save us anything this year or next year, but, maybe, but I think it's a good idea to do on a, let's go ahead and put some feelers out. I mean, and see,
Yeah,
what you
I
can
can
come
say there's not gonna be any savings coming up, but whether you go to Martinsburg, Cumberland, Hagerstown, wherever you go, I think there needs to be agents that can offer value-added resources. Whether it's right here locally or not,
right.
you know what I mean?
Well, like I said, that's what we need to find out,
Yeah,
where we get,
We also need to look at insurance companies' track records too.
Mhm.
absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree 150%.
So we're seriously, looking at that, and when we can, we'll talk to the clerk about it, because she has all that information that
Right.
anyone who would want to quote it would want to look at, okay, where are you? And like that. And
Right.
it's pretty much that. So that, I think, oh, and I did send out to you guys, the, Brianna, retyped the document that the county gives to, people who go in for building permits. And so we got it typed into a readable form, because the other thing that we were given, a while ago, it was absolutely, you couldn't read it at all. That, and I did put out for you guys, a very preliminary, property improvement acceptance application. And it's very preliminary, this is just something to think about and get us started.
Right.
That path, if we were gonna have a form that the county uses. It has a little more information than what we're required to give the tax assessor, a little bit more information, and,
It also has a permit acceptance application fee that wasn't on the other one.
do you see that it's in parentheses or
Yeah,
question mark?
we can
because
change
it
it
was
around.
on
All
the
I
other-
have is this.
Yeah, well, that's it, here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can,
that's it.
we can change it around any way you want to go.
This is a
It's-
first draft.
it's
You
gotta
understand
be
what first draft is? It's
No,
just-
I don't.
Okay, well, it's just, okay.
Yeah, like I said, we can work it around. I mean, we can take whatever off of it, put whatever we want on it. So, and like I said, you guys can look at it.
I was asked to do it, so I'm fine with it.
Look at the.
Yeah, take a look
Yeah,
at
it's
it. I
under
mean, it's,
advisement. It's
it's
I'm
nothing
asking you
that's
to
it's
do
set in
anything.
stone. I mean, we can, like that, we can or whatever. I mean, but, if you can pick something out of it that you can use, that's fine. If you can't,
If you don't
That's
like it
fine,
at
too.
all, I don't care. I was
Yeah.
asking, hopefully it didn't sound.
Have you, have you discussed this with Dick Gay at all in terms of whether he's,
I did,
what his input was?
and he hasn't gotten back with me. And
Okay.
I did send him, what the county does, the county's document.
Right.
And
Which
he
is
hasn't gotten back, yes, I think I did send him also the permit later after I got it done.
Okay.
But I haven't been able to get with him to really talk to him
Okay,
about.
I was just curious.
his
I
thoughts.
thought so. Okay.
Okay.
like I said, it's not trying to step on anybody's toes. So
No.
just let's
No, absolutely not.
work it around, and if it doesn't work for us, it doesn't work. Let's do something that does work. So,
Okay, now we
Right.
can do those.
okay, let's pay bills now so we can spend some money.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the county bath bills in the amount of $14,238.50.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $14,238.50. And any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bill in the amount of $57,492.59.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs waterwork bills in the amount of $57,492.59. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
And lastly, I'd like to make a motion to pay the tree board bill in the amount of $600.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor to pay the tree board bill in the amount of $600 even. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Okay, good for finance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good deal. Tree board, they have their meeting on the 18th at 4. Anybody have any information? Beth isn't here. Grant,
Let's see, the only update we had, we're not gonna know.
Yeah, the rail trail, the grant that was submitted by the county commission for the trailhead.
for the,
Yes, now, we really won't have any announcements about that until August, late summer probably.
that's one with Shelley Moore Capito's
Yes, sir.
office,
More
right?
capital, the
Okay.
good part.
That's all I've got for now.
Okay. All right, public safety.
We made an offer to an officer for a part-time position, and we're waiting to see if he accepts the position, and then we'll release this information. He's saying at the next meeting.
Good.
And you have your list of April totals in your packets.
Yep. Okay, Chief, do you have anything? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, Chief, I was asked to thank you by some members of my church for the police present Sunday. Much appreciated.
Okay, cemetery, Beth isn't here, so we'll move on. Public Works, Rick isn't here. As far as I know, everything's running smoothly. I haven't heard anything from Rodney. He normally calls me too, so everything seems to be going there. Ordinance, we have our next meeting on the 7th at 4 p.m. here. We did call an emergency ordinance meeting. What was that date? Chris? The 9th. And I don't have the minutes totally done on that. I don't know if you can just. shoot
Yeah,
me
no,
the-
we presented at that meeting and discussed proposed new the proposed new license ordinance, business license ordinance, excuse me, and the proposed new alcoholic beverages ordinance. Both are to bring us into compliance with the state code, and would repeal and replace our current, what's in our current code. And it's in your packet, and it was presented at the ordinance committee. The ordinance committee approved bringing it forward to the full council. And I move that the council approve the proposed ordinances for first reading.
A second.
They're in our packet.
Yeah, it's very back. It's the very back couple pages. I think Sharon also sent them out to us.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I remember seeing them.
General business. and- Yeah, I think we talked about, so it's $20 for any,
Right, across the
Yeah.
Any
board.
business,
Yeah.
doing,
yeah,
anybody doing business in the town.
additional filing fees or the license fees, that would be state things.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with it, I'll second.
Well,
Was there a
we
second?
already had a
Okay,
second,
yeah,
so discussion periods right now. Anybody else have anything to discuss? If not, I'm gonna ask the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
So-
For first reading, that passes.
I
So,
think, according to the ordinance procedures that we're going to need to, because this involves, raising of revenue, we're going to need to put an advertisement in prior to, if we can, the next meeting or a meeting after that, this can be, gone and go forth for second reading. So I can coordinate with the clerk's office, on that, but,
We're
just so you know.
actually decreasing too, but we're
Oh, we're-
increasing other areas.
Well, in the
so-
the $20 business license, I mean, lawyers only have to pay $5. So it's, some are getting, most are
Right.
getting decreased, some are getting, there are those
Right,
few
there are
getting increased.
several across the
And then
board,
we
so.
have, the alcohol fees are, there are some increases there. So, yeah,
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
But that's a different ordinance.
yeah.
This one is just general, and then this
And
one.
then there's the,
All
so
right,
do you, have we covered them both sufficiently and on your record, on the record, or do we need to?
Oh, okay,
move
so
to the
there
second?
was one motion for both of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're seeing them as a package since they, but if you want to handle them separately, we can. They're both, these are all the fees that are dealt with in the business license application document that will be updated based on these changes.
Well, there are separate
Yeah,
section
yeah.
numbers, so
So-
maybe we should.
Yeah, that's fine. I move that the proposed new alcohol beverages license fee ordinance be approved as presented.
Second.
motion second.
Or for first reading.
First reading. Motion second on the floor, any discussion?
Yeah, would you explain, I mean, how is it different from what we have before?
Sure. It basically just updates our code with the current West Virginia state code with regard to these fees. Under our current business license, some of these fees, example. So, for instance, in the current business license, these fees are set out in different places, but they're intertwined with the schedule of fees for alcoholic liquors, non-intoxicating beer, wine, etc. So this ordinance brings into line with the state code what we can charge for in terms of the different types of alcoholic beverages, like the different wine categories, the different beer categories.
So we're talking about section 628 and section 629
Yeah, all those, and
Yeah.
660.
and 660.
Because
Right
the
here.
628 deals with,
All the
Yeah,
West Virginia
yeah.
codes right there.
Okay. So we're dealing with three different sections that pertain to liquor sales of different types of
Different
and
liquor.
the
brands,
fees, the
right.
fees for sale of liquor within the
It-
town. Or wine, beer, and liquor within the town.
Maybe that each one has to be brought up separately.
I don't see how, why would we have?
Since they were in the same,
They were in the same category.
they're in that
I mean,
same
we didn't break them down. we just
chapter
read
and
the
articles of the code.
Yeah.
I thought that they
All
were.
right.
I mean,
I
I
just wanna
understand
be
splitting the
careful.
other two up, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I think if we have to vote for them individually, it's gonna,
And again, we would be repealing the current code and replacing it with this language.
Okay, all right.
okay, any more discussion? All right, I'm gonna call. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes with you, sir.
Yep, sorry.
That's all right, I don't want to carry them off because I know, okay. And then we'll have to do a print up in the paper, which you'll get with the clerk's office and take care of, right?
And
Okay. Okay, anything else for ordinance?
Not for me.
Anything that we did that? Okay.
yeah, that was the only things on the agenda.
Okay, all right, well, we will have an ordinance committee meeting, and if Chris, if you can come to that one too. I know you've got something, aren't you on the, Public Works Committee that day too?
No, I'm not, I don't have any conflict.
Okay, can you come?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
I appreciate that. Okay, let's move on down to Waterworks. Your baby too.
Nothing really new to report for Waterworks. I still need to get with Dick Gay about the what we discussed at the last meeting with I don't remember with the EPA requirements with regard to
Coming in people's houses.
yeah, houses and what their piping is into the plumbing is into their homes. So I will continue to look at that. But otherwise, our next committee meeting is Monday, June 5th at 4:30. And that's all.
So what you're gonna do is talk to Richard Gay about this requirement.
Yeah, just to get his input as to what you know what we can and can or don't do
Just don't
and don't have to do, or
Right.
if there's any wiggle room for us.
I don't think it's right for us to be going in, not being plumbers into people's
Yeah,
houses.
what
I just
are
don't get a
obligations?
warm and fuzzy feeling about that. They're requiring us to.
There'll be no welcome wagon, I'll put it
Well, I can
that.
tell you that, they won't be in my house, I can tell you. Unfortunately, I mean, that, you know, what I have in my house is my personal business. What happens after the outlet of that meter is my worries. I have to replace and repair that line from the meter into my house. So why would you request me to come in my house and do my pipes? You know, so I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel, and that's not being the mayor, that's the way I feel as a person of this town. So it's, all right, we come to the period of the meeting that I ask if there's anything else that needs to come before council. If not, I would consider a common consent to adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
So moved. We're in adjournment.
Hey, guys.
We got
Larry Flowers